Hi guys, Mama Mita here, and now today I want to talk to you about spices and herbs. How to make your own spices for your meats and your crock pot meals and stuff like that. And this is a really easy thing to do, and you can save a lot of money by doing that instead of going out and buying these spices, because these spices can be extremely expensive at the stores now. And then kind of the herbs that I do in the garden and stuff, because this year I decided to cut back on my garden and just concentrate more on the herbs, because it seems like that's what I use the most of. Because the other stuff that I was using, I gave up most of it away, but it was very time consuming because I had to constantly water it, because there's a lot of that right now. It's just really dry outside and it's really hard to keep up with it. Even the herbs, I mean, it seems like I water them, but then after a little bit later, they're like really bone dry and stuff. And it's really hard when you got a big garden. So we did a lot of changes. We haven't finished completely, but we're trying to kind of remodel our cat enclosure outside for them. And so because of that, we decided to move the big deck that used to be for the RV. We moved it to the back part of the apartment. So that took the garden out right there, because we had it on the wall. So we just, said, yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll just go with the herbs. Okay, so I still have lots of herbs every year. And so now's the season for, to kind of harvest those herbs and stuff. And so usually around this time, around August, the end of August, September, I start doing all that cleaning up of the herbs and spices and stuff, and see what I've got, because we're getting ready to get into the crock pot season. It's kind of actually my favorite one, because I love all that crock pot stuff anyway. But okay, so let me show you the first thing I want to show you, and that is with the rosemary. So I have like 4 bushes outside. They're pretty matured rosemary bushes. And so what I do is I usually just go out there and clip what I want and stuff, and I get quite a big pile of them, and I put them up in mason jars. I set them out and I just let them dry out. And once they dry out, then I take the little sprigs like this here. You see they're pretty bone dry, like they're just, touch them and they just start falling apart. I have one of these things, but this is more for like fresh herbs, because if you try to do this with the rosemary, what happens is you're going to get maybe stuck, from these things, because they can get kind of like needle-like, and then they start flying off in different directions. I feel like I have better control over the rosemary if I just start from the top and work to the bottom and just carefully take them off. And then once I get them into the little cup thing there, I put the lid on it and I just grind it away. And that's all I do. And it just grinds it up to be powder. And I usually try to have a good supply of rosemary done that will last me for the year. Plus I can also put them up in nice jars and label them, and I can give them away for Christmas gifts, for like gifts for someone's anniversary or their birthday or something. Just this nice little gift, that you just put in a little mason jar and say, hey, here's some rosemary powder. Because you really can't find rosemary powder on the shelves and stuff. And so it works. And then the little sticks that I have left, they can either go in the compost, or you can take them with you to your next campground, and just put them in the campfire. And, you can do lots of things with those. Not like you just have to throw them in the trash can and stuff, and then they just compost down fine. Anyway, so that's that. Now we're going to move over to the section for how I do of making up the spices and stuff for meats and chickens and things like that. Now remember, I used to do weddings, and so I did a lot of prime rib, a lot of fish, a lot of briskets, and a lot of oh gosh, I can't even remember the name of it. But it's a type of meat that's shaped like almost like a boomerang. Oh shoot, I hate that when you get old and you can't remember. I'll think about it later on when I'm doing this video. Anyway, so let's go over to the other side now. Okay, so here we are now. Now, here is my spice racks. Now, I've had these spice racks here since the care home days, and they worked really well for me, because the type of cabinets that we had, they didn't really fit a lot of stuff in them. And so this worked great, because I could just pull it right out, and they were all there where I could visually see it. They also were great in the RV. They're bamboo, and you can probably still get them at Amazon. but they work really well. And so, and you can just stack them next to each other. Like, it's almost like you just slide them in and then slide them out and, you know, pick them out what you need and stuff. Okay, so when I make my meat seasoning, I put them like in little jars like this, and I put like meat seasoning, and I just mix up the stuff that I want in there, and I keep it like that. And then when I need it for the meat, I just open it up, take what I want out, and use that. Now, to make like a rub, we're going to be talking about a rub here now. I would use brown sugar, salt and pepper, not a lot of salt. And the salt that I like, I would not use a lot of regular salt, like table salt. If I was going to use a lot of salt, it's going to be the Koshin rock salt. And that's going to be more for the prime rib. Or if, you know, if I was doing the brisket. Now, like the brisket, I would be using more the chili powder, the garlic powder, onion powder. I might even use, well, I would use some brown sugar and what else? It's a paprika, you know, those type of things. It's just according to what I was cooking, okay? If I was using the prime rib, then I'm gonna be more salt and pepper and it'd be more like the Monterey State seasoning stuff. Usually what I did is I took the garlic and I pureed the garlic, and I would take and coat the whole outside of the prime rib with the garlic, and then I put the Monterey steak seasoning on the outside of it, and then the last thing I do, I would heavily coat that with the kosher salt, because that would have to stay overnight to the next day marinating, and then that would either go into the oven or that would go on the grill for the prime rib, and it was just absolutely great stuff, delicious. So you can make those easy by making them yourself. You know, you don't want to go out, and if you go out and you buy like something like a rub with this, that's a lot of money, where you can simply make it yourself, okay? Now, what I found that works pretty good for these things like this here, like in the past when I got things like this, I saved the bottles. You see these little bottles like this here? Okay, these little bottles here, I'd buy those like at the, usually I find them at the shop that's for the Humane Society, thrift shop, and I can get them for like 25 cents. Now, sometimes I don't have a top to them. They might come with no top. So, and other times they might have a top. Now, this top will fit fine for it, right? This one will be just perfect. Let's see if I can get my camera to adjust here so I'm more free-handed to be able to show you better things, better way. Okay. Now, this one is an easier top, and it's got the little sprinkle thing, so you're okay on that, right? But what if I didn't have that? Well, this one here, or let me show you. This one, here. We'll take this one. Check this one out. Okay, now take this lid. This is an Italian spice. You can get these probably, you know, well, you get them at Walmart because it's great value there. Okay, but sometimes you can buy them at the dollar store. Okay, now you can take this here. Now this one's too big for it. Okay, but let's try another one. You keep trying. You keep saving. You save these things and you keep trying them. Now look at that. That has a built-in shaker. Didn't cost nothing either, except for the glass jar. I prefer the smaller glass because the smaller glass fits in my shelf. Let me show you that. The smaller glass is gonna fit in the shelf better. Now, if I get something like this, that's not really gonna fit. See, it won't go down. And even something like this is not going to go down. It's not. But I can sometimes use the lids on these. This is garbage. I'll throw this away. But I keep the lids because these lids I can use. Somehow, you know, they usually fit pretty good. Now, when you come to making the spices and stuff, this is like one for fish. Now with the fish, you know, I'm gonna make sure that I put some pepper, some little bit of salt, and I don't want to put a lot of salt. Let me show you what it looks like when you get something that, this is one that I bought a while back. And look at all the salt in that. you have to look at them and see, do they have a lot of salt? If they do have a lot of salt, past that, you're paying just for salt. You're not paying for the herbs and stuff, you know. So this is a good example right here. So it's not a loss, because what I'll do is I can actually, because this is done with table salt, I can actually take this and run this through like the filters, those little metal filters with the hand, you know, like you get them at the dollar store. I can run that through and the salt fall right through, and the herbs will be on the top. But I can also take that and just divide it up into like a little dish, and you know, mix some other herbs into it, and then put it into my own little container like that. Now, when I'm outside in the garden and I'm doing the herbs, I've got a lot of mint and peppermint and stuff, okay? And that works really well for me. I don't know if you know this now, but mint, this is my, let me see if I can get it over here now. This is some of my mint right here that's been dried. Put that right over here. This is my mint too. Now look at how big that container is. I've actually got 2 of them. So now, I use a lot of mint. I use a lot of mint in meat, because meat and mint, they go very well. It enhances the flavor of the meat. It really does. Without putting so much salt and stuff, you'd just be surprised what mint will do for you. So, and then this is my basil. So I know I can open the jar and smell which one I've got. Sorry, this is cilantro. And then I've got basil. So all of these things I'm saving and stuff. Now, this is my mint. I want to show you what happens with the mint. Now, my mint container is empty. So, okay, so my mint container is empty. So I take a big big funnel, and it has kind of a good size hose, and I put it like that. So now I know that I need some new mint in my little mint thing. So I take this and I put it in my hands like that, and I just rub my little hands together like that. Rub it. And what will happen is it'll break that mint up, which works really well. And I just do that and fill up my little container, and then I put this back, the larger one back. But I use this a lot of this stuff. And then I could mix that with salt and pepper, the mint, and I could mix it if I wanted to with a little rosemary, maybe some paprika, and I've got right there a seasoning for a meat. How about if you did the other one where you put like maybe there's the tri-tip. That's what it was. I was trying to remember. I hate when I can't remember something. Just wait, your turn's coming. Okay, so you take the tri-tip, and you would put, with the tri-tip works really nice with a little bit of finely grind coffee. Not processed, just coffee straight from the bag, and you finely grind it in the coffee bean grinder, and you mix your spices or your herbs with it and your spices and stuff, and put it together, and you rub that tri-tip with it. You just rub the whole thing really well, and you leave it overnight. And it's gonna be dark. It will be kind of dark. That's okay. And then you bring it out and you put it on the grill. Oh my God, it's so delicious. It's just really, really good. I don't know why that's not wanting to go through, but it's not wanting to go through. Normally, it's just easier just to, but you can also put it through the coffee bean grinder too, this thing, but usually it goes right through it. Could be the humidity, you know. Anyway, but I have orange mint, orange peppermint. Now, the Middle East likes to use more of the spearmint, but in my case, I use just any kind of mint. I use this mint for tea. I use it for the salads, like the tabbouleh, the fatouf salad. I can use it in Greek dishes. I can use it in Middle Eastern dishes. I can put it with the meat. Mint is, for me, is like gold. It's like, yeah, I keep a lot of mint. I really do. So that's what I like to do, is I like to take everything and just clean it out, start doing all my harvesting of my stuff and you know, processing it, making sure that I'm using that, because that's going to save me a lot of money. Now, let's say you live in an apartment and you really don't have a garden, and you don't have really a balcony, or maybe you don't want to do that, that's just too much work for you, okay? Then you can always pop down to Winco and you can buy it, you know, in the bulk section. And you don't have to get a lot. You just have to get like a medicine bottle, you know, maybe size, just a little bit. Even if you just don't know what you're doing, you just want to test it, just get like a little half of a medicine bottle amount, and that's good. You know, sometimes I even take the medicine bottle and use it when I'm at camp, take it with me if I can't find my other things and stuff, and I'm in a hurry to get to camp. Then I just use the medicine bottle, just drop what I want there, take it with me, and then bring it out. Okay, so that's how you're gonna save yourself some money with these spices, because let me tell you something, they just are getting really expensive. I just wonder where this is all gonna end, because I mean, like, geez, I mean, like, wow, you get like a little jar like this, and it's like $5, maybe $8. Are you kidding me? No. Now, let's say your spices are getting old, or maybe they've already outdated. Okay, so you got one or two choices here. You can either use it double in your crock pot or your cooking, just double it up so that it's a little bit stronger, okay? Or in this case, what you could do is you could take, I've got some pumpkin pie here, a little bit left, and I got some cinnamon that's outdated, and I've got some cinnamon sticks, and I've got some cloves, okay? And then I've got the vanilla, but the vanilla is still good. But, so I wanna make it like more smelling like the fall season. I put a pot of water on and I drop some of those spices and I boil it. Boy, the whole house smells wonderful. People come to, oh, what are you cooking? Oh, what smells so good? What is it? It's your outdated cinnamon and cloves and stuff. Don't tell them that. Oh, nothing, just poopery. And let it go like that. So you guys, this is kind of a money-saving tip thing here, like how to get really cheap and save some money here, because these darn things are so expensive. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they want that kind of money for it. But remember what I said about the lids and stuff. See, like this here, I would take this little thing off, this little strainer or this little sprinkler thing. I'll take that off and I'll save that, because I don't want the plastic, because I don't like the plastic too much. But I will take this off and I'll save the lids and stuff. And so it's kind of like, you know, interchanging the lids to see which one fits the best. And it works absolutely fabulous. So that's what I do. So you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, it would be nice if you could. It would really help me out a lot. Thank you guys. Bye and have a great day.